today's video, we're going to take a look at shred sequences. You know what I'm talking about, the fast stuff, repetitive stuff, and we're going to use them in a non-shred context, just like what you're hearing right now. Grab your guitar, I'll meet you right after this. Hello, my name is David Wallerman. Welcome to this channel, which is all about helping guitar players around the world find their voice on the instrument to tell their own musical story. The backing track that we're using today and the charts and tabs are available for free. The link is below. Just enter a valid email address after following that link, and I'll be sending you those right away. All right, so what is this all about? Well, this is about taking something that is locked into tempo, and I'm talking about those faster sequences, the kind of thing where you don't really have to think about it once you have it under your finger, this kind of thing. A little bad note here, but you know what I mean, right? All those shred sequences, and there are countless online. You can find them just browsing on YouTube. Taking those and applying them, using them as tools, as starting points to start phrasing in a little different way, and it's going to enhance your creativity with these. So you've guessed it. What is this all about? Well, this is all about rhythm phrasing, which is such an important topic. We've covered this so many times here, and that's what it's all about. So the first thing that we need to do, besides memorizing the pattern, and you get a few examples by following the link below, the charts will list a few examples. We're going to take those, and the very first thing you need to do is to have some kind of guideline, mental guideline as you're playing over something. So here we've got a track, an A minor, A Aeolian. That's our strong beat, right? Da, da, da. We're going to subdivide that. 16th notes? I always do that, right? That's your guideline. What does that mean? It does not mean that you're going to play over the guideline all the time, because then it becomes a shred sequence type. That's not what it means, but what it means is that anytime you play a note, it needs to fall on one of those da-ga, 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 da-ga. So it could be something like da-ga, da, da, da-ga, da, da-ga. And in my mind, I'm still hearing the da-ga, da. Da 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 da. And if you do this using a predetermined logical sequence, you're not always going to end on the expected note, which is really cool, because when you're playing over something, well, there are multiple chords here, and as you know, a note by itself is really nothing at all. It's just a sound, but a note in relation to something else becomes something, and that's where the emotions are triggered in the listener. I could have multiple emotions depending on the chord. I could have this one, which is the 9th, or this one, the 3rd. Now the chord changes, which means that my 3rd becomes something else, and so forth. I don't want you to overthink that, but just be aware of that. Now if we take a pattern, let's take a simple pattern. We are an A Aeolian, and we're going to do this on 2 consecutive strings. So for example, strings 1 and 2. I could play a 3-note per string type of thing. So I'll start in this zone of the fretboard, that slice of the fretboard. I could have something like this. Right? We've got 6 notes here. And then I will move each note to the next note it encounters within the scale. You know those exercises, right? Those exercises typically are created to help you memorize the fretboard and strengthen your technique. Well, here it's very different. We're taking something like that, and we're going to use that so we're really mixing together 2 different things. We're mixing the logical pattern sequence of the exercise, but because we are adding here, the word that we use on this channel a lot is injecting, right? So if we inject into those predictable patterns some of the more unpredictable rhythm patterns, it's going to create something pretty cool. And it's kind of doing something in the brain of the listener that mixes two cool things: the surprise element of the note you're landing on in the rhythm pattern, but also the predictable element of that sequence. And that's where magic can happen. So I'm going to improvise a little bit using that pattern here. Right? But with that rhythm element. If I do it without the track, it might be something like this. So right? Now, if I use this over the track, this is the kind of thing that we get. I'll move to the close-up here, and here is our track. So I'm going to start by not playing at all, because that'll give me a chance to the shaker, and then I'll phrase using that. I'll start right here. 3, 4. All right, I know, I made a mistake here. There was a note that was not really clean. You can delete that comment that you left below. I know it. But that's the idea. And that was just on one pattern. Now, an important thing when you are building an organic improvisation like that, when you're speaking the music language over a conversation always going on, the conversation topic is this one, you don't want to do just that. That's just one tool. The important thing when you're playing, I think this is easier to talk to you here. The important thing when you're doing that is to play, so you're engaged in the moment, but simultaneously you also want to keep part of your brain, your musical brain, outside of it, so that you're listening to what you're doing. You're participating, but you're also being the listener at the same time. And your ears will tell you what to play and when to play it. So I'm not going to do just those sequences. I'm going to start slow like I did in the intro. Let the conversation establish itself, and then join in very gently. My volume is not all the way up because I want it to be a little discreet. Maybe a little more than that. Just a few notes, right? You're becoming one with the track. And once you have that confidence that grows, when you pass the the dating game type of thing, it's almost like a dating game. When you really become one, you can actually speak your voice using that type of. I promise that face was not on purpose. It just happens sometimes. Okay, so that's what I have for you. Just an idea, a sparking idea that I think if you take it, apply it, work on it, it could spark new ideas, which eventually will become part of who you are and part of your own vocabulary. We kind of use the same vocabulary, the same scales, the same way of strumming and so forth, but a word by itself can be said with so many different nuances. Same exact thing with music. A lick by itself or a concept can be taken, even though it's the same concept, it could be said in so many ways. I'm sure if you close your eyes, you recognize that it's me speaking and not your neighbor Bob. Right? Bob? Who's Bob? I don't know. But right, there's intonation and all that, and that will happen if you take this and apply it to your music. Use this backing track and the few ideas that I have listed for you. They're free. So the link is below. And if this was your first visit, thank you for spending these few minutes with me. I hope this is valuable. And you should consider subscribing if you like this, because every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, a new video like this one comes out, helping guitar players around the world perfect their own musical voice. Nobody can play the way you play on the instrument. You are unique. Let's embrace that and speak the language. All right, thanks so much for watching this. I'll see you very soon, and practice well.